Livestream here on the Twitch.tv / the Xisuma and the TikTok, no longer streaming on the YouTube. Kind of noticed that some of my subscriber numbers were getting messed with, and I also felt like initially doing the multi-stream thing brought people over to Twitch. Now it feels like it swung the other way a little bit, like people are split between both. I kind of just decided we'll end the experiment for now. Maybe do the occasional stream over on YouTube, but for the most part just going to continue streaming here on Twitch. So if you're watching on the second channel and you usually catch these streams on YouTube, they'll just be on TikTok and Twitch now. Check this out. This is what I've been up to. This is what I've done. I built that. It's been built, okay? I don't know what it is, but I'm building it. Scar said the bottom looked like a banana boat. Which I'm going to lean into. I'm going to embrace. It's the banana boat build. Run with the rain. You were looking for a stream. Awesome. Glad to have you. Decana Heaven, Chiwi Pepper, 4Gil, Billman, 68. Thank you for the bananas. Dashmax, welcome. Guess who saw Slipknot at Knotfest Australia, says Just Kaya. Ooh, an Australian Slipknot fan. Oh, I bet there were lots of them actually. Jeez. How many points did I get for that answer? I hope you enjoyed it, my dude. Sounds awesome. I want to go to a Knotfest. I haven't done a Knotfest. I've seen Slipknot plenty of times. Yo, Tanny Glaze, thank you for 67 months of support. Much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream. The build here, by the way, it goes all the way up to the roof, which you can kind of see. You can see it much better in day. When I was last working on this, it was night, but you know what? I don't mind that you can look up and it just kind of ends. From where you see it as the player, you're not seeing it like here. So I think that works. What I'm doing today is working on the backside over here. Gonna make it like the other side, right? Oh, and peeps, I got a hot cup of tea that I got to enjoy. I absolutely want to sit here and enjoy this and warm my hands. My hands are cold. They're always cold, right? Wait, this is Loglands? I didn't recognize it. Yeah, we're inside of Loglands, my dude. So, this thing is 4 wide. What I want to do is kind of count. You got the bottom stair. It curves, and then you got 2 more. On this side, we've got the bottom stair. It doesn't curve, though, and then you got 2 more. Yo, this song a funky tune right here. I want to look up what the name of this one is. Light and Shadow. Can't remember where exactly in the game this song played. First Xisuma stream you could catch is Bethany. Welcome to the stream. Let's go ahead and build this out. So the thing we're going to put here will be 4 wide. Let me remind myself of how this works. I think we're going to just share the space in the exact same way here. So that would be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult to do. Actually, does that make it only that wide? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess it does. So it only comes out as far as here, on the opposite side. James Shaw says, "Hey X, welcome James, welcome." Look at this inventory, isn't it just? Ugh, it's always a problem in this game. I'm forever going to be swinging this camera around between these 2 spots. Because my inventory is full of junk. I think that's definitely the block we put behind it. Then we put Cha-Cha trapdoors on. There we go. Got a few of those left. Right, and then let's slurp a bit more. Good stuff. Woven Rainbow from a lurking window. Welcome, welcome. No multi-stream today, no Spooky. I'm going to stop doing multi-streams on a regular basis, at least to YouTube. Had to do your math homework but gave up. Oh, don't give up, dude. Maths is cool. Numbers are interesting. James Shaw says, looking good, also playing Minecraft right now. That is the way. We are the multitasking generation. Right, another thing I needed was bamboo fence posts. That tea is really hot. I tend to use these mixed up with the birch fence posts. Bamboo and birch together. Evidence of. Twitch supremacy. Apparently, yeah. Mining also crafting says, man, I love block game. It's the forever game, right? So this thing starts like one block over from the top. So there. Then we put in, how many of them? 2. Do a little jump. No! There we go. Like that, and then you got one more higher up. How to get there, though? I do have ender pearls. Ender pearls are super handy when you're building. Super duper handy. Right, this is all going to need blocks behind it. Yeah, full inventory. I'm sorry. What is going on here? Did a lot of building with the mangrove stuff that I don't think I need this second. Yeah, don't... no, wait a minute. I'm going to be building up another section of this. I'm going to need more of it. I'm going to need more people. Hi, Hermitcraft is always such a nice comfy vibe, says Unsophisticated. Isn't it just? Isn't it just? Nice vibes around here. Welcome to the peeps tuning in. Nealm, Helter Spawn, Wenty Ash. Dash Max says time to parkour. When you're building, that is some parkour right there, isn't it? Digital Chaos, welcome to the stream. Alright. Put a few more blocks around here. Swap up the textures a little bit. Actually, is it stairs directly above? It is. It is. Cat stuck in glue? Says hi, cat stuck in glue. I thought it was like sucking glue. I was like, what? Yo, when I went and made this cup of tea that I got right here, I looked out of my window into the garden. There was a kitty cat. And it was staring right at me, but its body was like frozen in this weird position. It was like halfway through like a movement. And it looked so stupid and funny. And I just cracked up. And then I got on with what I was doing. And when I looked up again, it had moved. And it was once again frozen in this silly position looking at me. Kitty cats are funny, aren't they? They are funny. That's what I'm looking for. As well as those. There's a few more there. It's weird to see how much you built because you're behind on the Hermitcraft episodes. To be fair, I haven't really been showing much of this in my episodes. It's like feels a little off here, like... That's 4 wide, that's 4 wide. I guess it gets a little bit wider, yeah. Let me look at it again. Yeah. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Go place this up here. Yeah, cats be doing that, says Decana Heaven. They do that, don't they? Hey, Swift Sneak, thank you for the nice message about the builds. You like watching cat videos when they have a camera on their collar? Oh, like see where they go in their day? I don't think I've seen... I think I've maybe seen that with like a dog or a cat at one point, but not really paid much attention to it. But now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, that would be fascinating, wouldn't it? Your cat likes biting toes. Ooh, it's a bad. Sounds like a bad habit. Dash says, my daily Hermitcraft dose is being increased by watching this stream. It's the only way it could be. So now it feels a bit odd because on the other side, does this thing go over a little bit? It does, yeah, okay. So I need to build some sort of structure that then accommodates for this being 4 wide. I want to get that torch down now as well. Let's put it just there. Bam. So now I've got to build a spruce window. Look, I am forever just going back and forth down to here, like grabbing stuff. Drives me nuts. Right, so we need a few of those. We need lots more trapdoors, though. Sweet, we got them. How does how do your toes bite your cats? Was that the way the word was the message was worded? Wow, even I got that the wrong way around. It's because I'm thinking about it being the wrong way around, literally. My toes like biting cats. Oh, it's a new message. Got it. There is so much fun to watch with the collar camera. I imagine it could be pretty entertaining. I'm a curious cat myself. Yeah, so we go 1 higher to build this. Also, that looks really, really odd. Why? I think that might have been like a hangover from building, like putting blocks above it. Just got left there. Did I put in that second row? I did. Yo, I've selected my axe. What's going on? Flacco TV, hey X, sorry if this has been asked all the time, but when is the next Hermitcraft video dropping? Been out of the loop for a while and just caught back up. You want more? I don't know. That being said, we're supposed to do something this week that we've been trying to do for a while. For me, I'm hoping we get that done tomorrow and then I can start thinking about making an episode for you. But lately, I've just been playing and not thinking about making an episode. Just been playing for fun. I mean, I always play for fun, but like making an episode adds this other layer of like thought and commentary and how what you're doing fits into your episode. And I just haven't really felt like doing that. I've just been like, I just want to come on and play. That's why there's been so much done over here at Loglands. Yeah, no episode really about it. Okay. These little bits in. So this is where I put in some temporary blocks and then left them in last time. Yeah, then we go 1 higher and we start to put in some mangrove. And I think also it gets a little bit wider here. Just a little bit. Oh, I love this melody so much. Yeah, so I'm going to put that there. That creates a bit of a marker. And now we need to get in the mangrove wood stairs. Mangrove wood stairs. Let's drink some more tea. I got a kitten and it jumps into a box and refuses to come out unless there's food. And every time we try and get her out, she attacks me. Yikes! That doesn't sound good. Apparently I'm hungover from building in Minecraft. That's not my language, that's yours. How would you like the shout out you got on the MC Discord stage about the marketplace stuff? It was an insightful stage, says Rob. I was playing guitar and half listening. Because I planned to play guitar that evening. And then I was informed of that. And then I thought I heard my name, and then I'd like turned up the volume a little bit, and I was like, oh wow, that's very kind of Donald. I'm confused. How can you start a stream at 12:07 and call it Sunday morning? I mean, I was going to start earlier, but I had to fix some Hermitcraft stuff before I got going here. Yo, Loading Turtle 22, thank you for 12 months. Good morning, X. Oh my god, it's been a year. Thank you for a year of amazing content and looking forward to more in the future. TBNR Woods, thank you for 21 months. To the both of you, if you did not know. You can now join the Let's Play Minecraft Together server just as a regular subscriber. A gifted sub, a Amazon Prime sub, all of these will get you access to our Patreon community server. You can go to asumavoid.com/get whitelisted. I mean, some of you are already there. I'm just letting you know. New peeps come in, we've got to let them know what the dealio is these days, you know? I had a kitten so unbelievably hyper and biting everyone that we had to give her to a family friend. Unfortunately, I am not owned for cats that bite my hair. Yeah, some animals can be tough business, right? TBNR Wood says, I need to get into Minecraft. I mean, if you've been here for 21 months, I would assume you were a Minecrafter, but dang. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get into it, perfect opportunity right there. Amazing community to be a part of. I'm going to stream again on there in a couple of weeks. Got an event coming up, and I want to do a little survival-oriented activity as well. Your parents' cat is in a gang, they hunt together, and then they sit around in a spa pool after. Sounds so bizarre. Mafia cats. That's what it sounded like. See, I need to go get the red glass next. Dang it. And the fence posts. Red glass, fence posts. After that, probably lots of mangrove wood, right? Going all the way up to the ceiling. So I'll take that, I'll take this. Get rid of some of these other bits too. There's some mangrove wood. Now we just need some mangrove fence posts. Ah! Ah! I'm not trying to type out a novel. Hey, there's the glass. God, I almost forgot about that. And there's the fence post, actually. I think that's enough for what we need. What kind of tea am I drinking? It's an English breakfast. Can you only drink English breakfast in the morning? Is that how that works? That would make a lot of sense. Okay, let's go ahead, put this window in. Cherry logs across the top. Before we put all of them in, I also got to put this in, right? So 3, 4, and then I got to move up here as well. One, 2, 3, 4. We good? Enzella, whose name I probably pronounce differently every time I've said it. There's an emote for this, isn't there? There is, there is. Thank you so much for 2 months. Sleep deprivation time. Oh, you know how I feel about this. Get your Z's in. Don't let me be responsible for fatigue. Thank you so much for 2 months. We also got Small Town Cowboy here for 3 months. IX, happy Sunday to you. Are you actually a small town cowboy? That is my question to you. Thank you for the support, by the way. Because I've been watching the Yellowstone, and I like how it's like a window into a different culture. And a lot of the stuff, the way they portray the cowboys in that, I'm now like very curious. I find myself very curious about it. Like, ooh, like this way of living. How much of this is like fiction and for the show, and how much of it is like an accurate portrayal? You know. The show's got me quite intrigued. At the same time, I'm also starting to feel like it's a show that's just gonna run you through all the motions, you know, season after season, up in the ante, packing in plenty of filler. I like a story that has like a destination, you know, that's gonna conclude somewhere or something, so to speak. I think having light come out of this window here might be a bad call. We might do a little something just to change that. We do have the torch here. If we take away the torch, it's a lot better. I've been meaning to show Mumbo the armor stand animation stuff for like a week or two, and I'm just never online at the same time as Mumbo. Just missed him constantly. It's like the weird thing here is, can you see how we just use, I mean it's very dark, but we just use like a wall coming up to block this off. If we do the same thing on this side, what I'm feeling is that it's gonna make this thing here kind of awkward. We'll have to catch Mumbo in the week. Yeah, this is a part of the base where all of the chaos of Loglands kind of like dwindles down to an area that's potentially going to look really awkward if we don't do it right. I mean, I could extend this bamboo thing across to the wall there. And then maybe like park it down onto these blocks, just go all the way across. It'd be a very flat, boring thing. But like, not everything is supposed to be spectacular. Plus, it's literally like out of the line of sight of the player. Like, you're not really going to be down in that area. So I think that's probably the most important takeaway there, is that it's not really that important that we see that bit, right? Look at this, I grabbed tons and tons of mangrove, thinking it was everything we needed. And we only used a tiny bit. Oh, I might actually use some of those again. This music's so good. I've talk about multitasking. I've like got vivid visuals of playing the game in my head. This music's from where you like see one of the gods. I don't know if they're actually referred to as gods, but there's these like you have these rooms with this like floating temple god thing, and then there's these symbols around it, and as you solve the puzzle, the symbols get cleared, and then you unlock something. It's super cool. Assuming your chat is full of cat-loving Australians. That's my chat. Yo, Moonchild9509, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate your support. I hope you enjoy the perks of being a subscriber. Don't know what to do about this bit here, but I'm starting to think like what I might do. Now surely I have some stone, right? Of all the things like not to have, there you go, stone bricks, right? Of all the things to not randomly have in a chest, stone. I reckon what might work here is to just change this so its height is 2 all the way across. Including over here. That changes the light dynamics a little bit in this area. Yo, did something just get a shot at me? Whoa! Thought I heard a skeleton shoot. Yo, Wolf Dog, thank you for 6 months, my dude. Thank you for resubscribing to the channel. Dotbit Gaming in chat asks what game. The Isles of Sea and Sky? Or Sky and Sea? For a favourite game, I have a pretty hard time remembering the name of it, which is just as about as me as you can get, really, isn't it? Build first, figure out later. Von Sway time. That was the whole approach here. That was the whole approach. That's part of the fun. The title of the song is literally Stone God. Well, there you go. It's... Okay, so in the game, it was a god. Is what we're saying.
And here I thought I was close to hitting you. I wasn't even close to Xisuma. Oh
Hi.
God, you got beacons. I'm falling. I broke blocks. I apologize.
Jeff,
your beacons are too much.
You just come in here and start breaking stuff, do ya?
I said, okay, I have extra blocks in my inventory now. You can have those. I don't know where those go. I'm just gonna go over here now.
Right.
So, how close was I to hitting you? Actually, you know, it was pretty close. I was at the very top of your log up there, so. So
you were trying to... Did you have a mace on you?
No, I was trying to shoot you.
Oh, I heard that. Oh, right, I heard the sound of it. I thought it was a skeleton. And then I just started mumbling and fumbling around and I wasn't paying attention after that point.
Anywho, I'm here
Hi.
Because I want to ask you some questions about Minecraft. Do you have a moment?
I do. Should we go stand in the middle of this place?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, let's hop over this wall. Woo!
We can't mine.
See, look, the view here is so much nicer.
Oh wow, you've done so much down here. Oh
yeah,
my Lord.
I've been busy. It's like a little city.
Okay, so
you got questions.
I'm gonna ask you 5 or 6 questions, and the point of this is to get the opinions of hermits and see how they differ from each other.
Okay.
I've already asked Cub a bunch of these questions. I'm gonna ask you these questions now. So the first one is, what do you think is the best enchantment in Minecraft, and why is it feather falling?
I was gonna say mending. But I feel like that's
not you and Cub. Come on.
That's what most people are gonna say, because when you're old school, you remember the days where you used to like spend ages at an Enderman farm, getting up to level 50. Used to make loads of picks, right? And then they gave us mending, and it was what a godsend.
Okay. Listen. I will respect your opinion a little bit.
A little bit of respect.
Here's the thing, right? We fly everywhere.
We do.
And we don't realize how good feather falling is. But I guarantee if you were to take it off for a while, you would kind of recognize pretty quickly that it's one of the best.
I disagree. Here's why. Watch me fly.
Okay.
Right, we're going to come in hot. Yeah, look, there's iJevin.
You're so dead.
Woo! Nope.
Making me look bad, X. Okay. All right. So the next question is, do you prefer mending or not mending? Sorry. Do you prefer Silk Touch or Fortune?
Ooh, I gotta go with Silk Touch. Yeah, it's gotta be Silk Touch.
Interesting. Okay, because Cub said the same thing. I was gonna ask, do you carry both pickaxes on you?
I only carry Silk Touch, but I've got Fortune through my backpack, aka Ender Chest, right?
Okay.
So I would say in my mind I have both.
All right. The next question is, do you have a least favorite block in Minecraft? There's been a common theme with this one as well. Let's see if you agree with what the other people have said.
You know, something popped into my head, and I think I've got a pretty strong argument for why. But okay. I would say bedrock. Bedrock.
I did not see that coming. Would you like to know what the other ones were?
Go on, yeah, tell me.
Pink glazed terracotta, the arrows.
The magenta one, yes. And any other? Is that it? Is that all that came up so far?
I've only asked Cub and Scar, and they both gave the same answer.
Yeah.
So
they were over here the other day moaning about it. I got some up there, up the top. Hey, look, let's change location. Woo. Ow.
Oh yeah, look at you with the glazed terracotta.
Yeah.
As a whole, I would say that this is the entirely. I don't like any of these blocks. I'm never going to use them.
They're tricky. By the way, I'm getting audio feedback from you.
From me?
Yes. I hear myself through your microphone.
I don't know if that's me or not. I haven't changed anything.
Oh. Hang on, test one, two. Wait, what?
Test.
Oh, I know what it is. One second.
You slacker.
It's my fault.
He blamed it on me.
I've got my camera account just up there, but it's not using the AFK profile, so it's got a microphone on it. You know, the microphone mod. Okay. Oh my god.
So
oh my
why
god.
do you think Bedrock is the worst block?
Because it has a horrible texture by default. Right? Okay. It's jarring to look at, but you can't move it. So if ever you do stuff down at the bottom of the world, I mean, yeah, you can make a bedrock remover, but like every other block in this game is movable, right? Maybe the end portal isn't. But, you know, you have the choice to use it or not. With bedrock, if you're down there at the bottom of the world, you have to put up with that ugly texture.
That's fair. I would say the counter argument to that is that you can make really cool, like, glass underlayments of it to make it look almost foggy.
Yeah, you can. Awesome, you can work with it. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Next up. What is your favorite block in Minecraft?
Such a tough one.
My favorite block in Minecraft is probably stripped spruce.
Okay. My mind went somewhere totally different, so this probably tells you a lot about me, but I'm thinking ender chest or shulker box. Practical, right?
Interesting. So just so this is why I'm asking these questions, because when I asked Cub and all of them, they gave it based purely on aesthetic. Yeah. And then your mind just went directly to, this is good for the game, I like it better. So yeah, that is so fascinating to me.
See, if I picked a favorite aesthetic block, I don't have one, because I feel like there's so many different aesthetic directions you can go in, and each time a different group of blocks serves the purpose. So like I wouldn't have a favorite, but I immediately think of functionality. You know, shulker boxes and ender chests are just huge game changers. Imagine playing without them. Imagine season 11, Jevin does the no ender chest shulker box challenge. Like, you would hate your life within a couple of weeks.
Like the first week. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay. That's so fascinating. That's like such a different answer than what I expected, which is cool and why I'm doing this. So, next question. You can remove any block from the game. What do you remove and why?
Oh, that's so difficult.
Cub and Scar both said terracotta for the glaze.
This one, yeah.
But yeah.
To be fair, if you had to single out a block to be removed, picking the ugliest would be a good shout. I don't think this is the ugliest block though. I actually think it's good that we've got an arrow block. It's just a shame it's such a jarring color. But I think I'll stand in solidarity with them and pick this one then.
The glazed terracotta, the pink glazed terracotta is getting a lot of hate.
Yeah.
A lot of hate. So, in terms of Minecraft updates, do you feel as though they should give us stairs and slabs for everything? And I'm going to preface this question with Minecraft, they try to do their best with adding blocks to the game, but I kind of feel like two things here. Number one, if they add those, it's way too much. And number two, I feel like if they do add it, it's like they're in trouble with update ideas, and that's like their ace. Like,
I don't think adding more to this game takes away from the long-term ability to add stuff to it. I think you have to ask, for the first question or the first part of your answer, like, what is the underlying problem? Is how you have to manage these blocks in the game, right? Yeah. So I think adding more options for building, definitely good. Not really negative. The thing that's negative is that how you manage them. So we need better ways to manage blocks in this game as they add more and more to them. They gave us the bundle, which was a little bit helpful, but for example, let's just say I got this bamboo mosaic right now, right? Let's say I just press a hotkey and it changes the shape when I place it to a stair block, right? Or to a fence or a fence gate. Like,
good.
One key, we change the way we look at blocks. Maybe you don't craft them anymore. Maybe even a slab is the equivalent of a normal block, but you place it with a different shape. Then you could open up slabs, stairs, walls, fence gates, maybe even new shapes to all the different, all the different blocks in the game. Here's an idea though. Like, what if they added something that was a new shape? Like a slope block. Do you think they should add a slope block?
I think I would be against that, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be a bit weird,
And
wouldn't
I think I'm against it because, well, for one, everything is blocky and it would just look really weird.
Well, the lectern is a slope.
I
Look
guess
at this.
so, but it's unique in its own way.
True, yeah.
But your idea is really good, but I would disagree with one portion of it, the button pressing. I think we should have a tool for it.
Could be done with a tool. It could be done with a tool.
Yeah. Because I feel like if I'm just pressing a button, it feels more creative mode to me.
Yeah,
So,
I get that.
But so the next question is for food in Minecraft. Right now, we have all of these wonderful base ingredients for things. Think about cake, for example. We have chocolate cocoa. We could make chocolate cake. Do you feel there should be a standalone food update? Maybe add a new villager. And you know how Minecraft does things really obscurely with how they did the elytra and the names and things. You know, they would name it something like an artisan or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So new blocks, so things like cookware, maybe a new furnace of some sort, and then, or an oven, for example, and then take all of the existing food that we have, combine them into recipes. We have eggs, we can make different types of egg dishes. And I think along with that update, they should give some of the food like perks to use them. Because right now in Minecraft, you have two foods that reign supreme, and we have no reason to use anything else. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, so we already have like a large variety of foods in the game, but we don't have a strong incentive to use them.
Exactly.
And when people talk about what would you use them for, the things you would attach to them would probably overlap with other things like beacon effects. So like this food will give you speed for a few minutes. Well, that's kind of like going into the potion territory, right? Mm-hmm. So I think they need to come up with clever, creative ways to make having more food in the game worthwhile. Like,
almost like
what if they added a plate block, kind of like an item frame? And then when you put like a piece of food into it, it just gave it a more interesting model, a better way to display the food. Little things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe like a tripwire hook looking thing that you can hang up food on. And then
like
again, it displays, like a drying rack. So it displays differently, but then it gives food these aesthetic and creative uses, because in this game, food isn't really food, is it? It's like, there's a lot of it, but you're going to end up with golden carrots.
Golden carrots, cooked meat, it's all the same thing. I mean,
yeah, one or the other. But like, no one's going to start off with a sweet berry farm and stick with it throughout the rest of their world, are they?
God no. So, with the food question, have you ever played modded Minecraft before?
Yes, I have. We've played together.
I'm terrible at remembering things.
I mean, do you remember Mod Source?
Oh my god, yes. Okay, well, in that territory, have you ever used a mod called Pam's Harvestcraft?
Briefly. I recall it having tons and tons of different types of food in it, right?
Yeah. I think we should have something like that. You know, the only downfall to that is that inventory space again.
Yep.
But that opens up something that we don't do in Minecraft. We make a singular farm for food, and then we're done. You know, if we have all of these vegetable crops and tree crops that make these different foods and vegetables and fruits, there's so much more depth to the game.
Here's an idea, right? Would it be bad if you could make a food, right, out of all the existing bits of food in the game, and when you craft it, it's not stackable, you can only eat it once, but then maybe it just keeps you saturated for like the equivalent of 3 or 4 Minecraft days. Like, you won't have to carry around food with you for a long time. Would that be
fascinating? I think that would be fun too.
That would be cool. Although it might make you a bit OP because like food is like tied to health, and then you're just constantly regen. But you know,
I think Minecraft does this great job of introducing all these features, but at the same time, there's no real depth to them.
Yeah.
And just exploring some of that depth, especially with the food system, because let's be honest, I honestly cannot think of a new food apart from, say, honey coming into the game in like the last 10
Yeah,
years.
it's been a while, hasn't it?
So,
But then, like, we've had so many foods in the game.
yeah.
In the last 10 years.
So
In the last few years, I think. But
that's fair. That's fair.
like, because
Alright,
there
and
was
finally-
originally just a couple of pieces of food, and then they started adding loads, and then it was like, wait, why are we getting all of these? They don't really do much.
Best invention Minecraft ever made was stacking the food.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good one. Because you remember the old Blackwater food?
I do. Yeah, no, I remember that.
Instant consuming, no eating method.
Times were different. When we played Minecraft, like in the beginning, like almost 14 years ago or whatever now,
Yeah.
the world was slower and playing games was slower. And like, I remember part of the charm of Minecraft was like, hey, I want to build this thing, and now I've got to figure out how to walk back and forth and organize my food and my inventory and move these materials here. That was like super fun originally, but then over time that got tedious.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, I've got 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
What do you think is the worst mob in Minecraft, passive or hostile?
Jevin, this is the question I will answer the quickest in my life.
I would say
It's
Phantoms,
the
right?
Phantom, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
So Cub had the idea to move them to the end and then maybe add some biomes. But you just want them totally removed, huh?
No, I think they can. I think they can be remedied
Great in mob.
because they're currently just poorly implemented, right?
Uh-huh.
The bar is very low to do better. I think if any person watching your video, watching my stream, sat down and thought about it for a little bit, they could come up with ideas better than what we currently have. Because what we currently have is, oh look, it's night, and now there's these screeching noises, and you're being attacked from the skies, and wow, this is just a terrible experience.
Awful.
Yeah,
It's awful. So that's fair. All right, and then finally, there's been a lot of different talk about different dimensions with mods, and so we have things like the Aether, Skylands. Where does that conversation go with you? Do we have an ancient city dimension come up? The Deep Dark, possibly? Or does Xisuma want some sort of new dimension that's totally different and is more fun? What do you think?
I got 2 answers for you. One is I think it's the biggest easy win that's just sitting there out in the open for a Minecraft update. Give a new dimension, add a whole new world to explore, give it all kinds of crazy mobs, whatever. Like it feels like such an easy thing to do, and I find it a little strange that they're shy on putting a new dimension into this game.
Kind of a copy and paste thing, really, because the architecture is set up already.
Exactly. Well, yeah, they put everything in place to do it, yet we haven't seen it, and that's been in place for a few years now. So it feels like they did it more for the map making community at this point. But if you look at how things like the April Fool's snapshots work, with like going to the moon and the potato dimension, it's like they've clearly been messing around with this idea and using it. So like, why haven't we got a new dimension yet? Maybe they're working on that in the background. My second part to this answer would be that I think you could like give the game more depth without adding a dimension. I love this idea of like, let's say you go to the end dimension, right? But you wear some special end dimension glasses, and the tool reveals a hidden layer of the end dimension that you can now interact with, right? Like when you put these glasses on, you see things that weren't there before.
All right, you just gave me the world's greatest idea. So we move phantoms to the end.
Yes,
and
okay.
Then goggles or a tool, phantom point of views, POVs, point of
Dude,
interest.
the phantoms spawn above you, and the shulker bullets.
Phantoms, yeah.
Shulker bullets send you up into the sky. Like you could go up into the phantom realm, and like with the goggles, you can see how to navigate it or something.
I think that you kill the phantoms, get a drop rather than the membrane, or a new drop. Maybe we double drop it like the rabbits, and then say goggles or something. I'm sure the obscure thing they'll do, but Like, and then it's sort of this new area. I think that's a really cool idea, honestly.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Plus, there's like synergy with the Phantoms being the end, because they were originally supposed to be in the end, and the Phantom membrane repairs the Elytra. The Elytra you get in the end, you can use it to fly. You know, the shulker bullets send you upwards. There's loads of synergy there to do more in the end dimension, that's for sure.
Yep. All right, final question.
Okay.
So we talked about mending being what you think is the best enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there needs to be change within mending? Because personally, I do. I would like to see mending degrade. And what I mean by that is we put it on our tools and then we never do anything else again. The only way we ever use or interact with those things is if we die and have to get new ones. My idea would be every time we get so much XP accumulated on the tool, it loses, say, 5 to 10 durability. So
I'm not sure I can get on with that, on board with that, because what mending does is it stops you doing a grind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
like
if you make...
I got another right beacon. I like grinding.
True. I mean, grinding is for some... Well, you know, you could play on... You just... If you like grinding, don't use mending, right? So...
But it's there and it's easy.
Well, it's like a scale, right? And you can adjust the slider. So we can... Like, you could say, let's make mending repair less of your item's durability. So it takes more XP to repair it. Well, that just means you're still reliant on building some sort of Enderman farm, and now you just spend twice as long there, right? So, you know, we don't want it so you take one trip, you know, one bit of XP heals everything you've got, right? That's silly, but I just see it as you're swinging the game in the direction of grind, and for me, I feel like things like that, they're fun originally, but after you play the game over and over again, it becomes more about being creative and building stuff, right? And things that slow down that process, they kind of annoy me.
Yeah. So, for the record, Cub wants mending to be even better.
Oh, okay.
He wants you to be able to use diamonds to repair the tool as well as have mending.
You can do that already, right?
Without it being too expensive.
Yeah, so like infinite repairs from diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, yeah. But I wouldn't look at those in synergy. I'd look at them in terms of like player ability, because some players are just not... they don't know how to get mending books, right?
That's fair.
So if they find mending from loot, it's like, oh, best thing ever, I finally got mending. But then they get punished for, you know, by having to repair, and have the cost go up, while better players get mending and have just a far easier experience with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So final thoughts here. Where do you think Minecraft is as a game right now? Do you think it's in a good state? With this question with Cub, we both agreed that the quality of life changes that they're adding to the game right now, it's really on an upswing. You know, they're adding things that we've been wanting for a while. Where do you stand with that? Do you think it's good, bad? What's up?
I think it's good for the community. My personal feeling is that there's like core mechanics and things that are lagging behind where the game could be. We've got an inventory system that's, you know, 12 years old. Way out of date, yeah. But that doesn't seem to be what the majority of the community is concerned about. The community have really responded to these quality of life updates, the ambience, the variety stuff. So I think it's healthy from that perspective. I've also felt for a long time, like, does this game exist without a competitor? Because no one's come along and done the Minecraft thing, right? Like,
yeah.
Why hasn't some other company come along and just built a better Minecraft? Like, there's a load of knockoffs out there, and it makes me think like one day something might just appear that replaces Minecraft. Like, it just brings in all the Minecrafters because it's almost the same thing but way better, right? I have been anticipating that for like 7 or 8 years and nothing's come along, and it wouldn't surprise me if it happened, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if something took the throne.
In about 14 more years you will have Hightail, but
yeah, where's that at? That's been around the corner for way too long. Yeah.
So, and to think about the inventory situation, I think the last time we had an inventory update was when they added offhand.
Yeah, that'll probably be it.
I mean, apart from shulkers and things like that. I think the last actual inventory update was offhand. So.
Yeah, we might have one round the corner because on Bedrock they're changing the UI so that when you open a chest, you're going to have like inventory and barrel would be like left and right on your screen, which could open up like visual space for more rows in the inventory. But that's probably wishful thinking on my half.
Yeah. All right, sir. That's all I got. I will say that you and Cub had a lot of similar answers, except for when it comes to game mechanics. Like, you think in a manner of efficiency.
Yes.
Whereas Cub thought in a manner of improving features and aesthetics more.
That sounds about right. I mean, Cub's a grinder as well, right? So he embraces the challenge of the inventory, whereas I get annoyed by it.
So perfect. Well, that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for answering my questions. It was a lovely conversation.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out. It was good discussion.
See you later, dude.
All right.
Yep,
see you around.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I'm gonna chop my camera account off while I remember because when you use the same profile between two different accounts, like it can mess with your settings. It's probably already messed with Bobby Mod. Let's get this one loaded up. So I have an AFK profile that uses like less memory and stuff. Now when we fly up here and move around a little bit, it looks okay. You get these weird like loading errors if you use Bobby mods in multiple instances, but it seems like we're okay. Fingers crossed I haven't goofed anything up there. Yo, the Minecraft launcher is terrible. This thing just keeps, like... I don't know what it is. Does anyone else use the Minecraft launcher on their computer and just have it go dark when you try and do stuff? I like go to launch the game and then the launcher just goes blank and the game doesn't launch. You have to reload it. That's why I use Prism. Oh my god, it did it again! Wow, it's so bad. Usually it's like you reload it, fire it up, and you're okay. And then if you try and do anything else, it will go dark again. Now it's just going dark straight away. I don't like using third-party launchers. I prefer to use the. Guess what? I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's gone dark again. That means I can't actually even just load Minecraft, right? Like I click launch and nothing. Toguro Joe, thank you ever so much for 76 months, and Jacket Fracket, thank you for 16. I struggle a lot with somnophobia. I usually put your stream or VODs up on the TV as your soothing voice helps me fall asleep. I feel like I need to add, it's not because your streams are boring. Thank you, my dude. I appreciate the support. I'm glad it helps in some way. Let's try one more time to get this thing launched. I hope both of you know you can play on the Let's Play Minecraft Together server now as a subscriber here on Twitch. Right, let's go launch this thing another time. The latest followers thingy on top got fixed, but the subs aren't showing. Nah, I don't know what's up with that. Don't know what's up with that. I forgot to even look into it last time. I'll make a note. Alright, hey, it launched! Woo! There it is, camera account. It be cameraing and stuff. Okay. Right, let's get back to this building in just a moment. I think it is now time for me to stand up. Ironically, using the Modrinth launcher with your pack that Henkel Max published and it works great. I have never used the Modrinth launcher for launching Minecraft. I just use it to manage all the mods that I use. But it's a very nice program, isn't it? It's a very nice program. Yo, Jack MF Daniel with the Prime. Thank you for supporting the channel. And as an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can join the Let's Play Minecraft Together server. Go to xisumavoid.com/get whitelisted. I want to do more streams from there in the future. But that'll be when all the custom stuff starts coming in, like boss battles and whatnot. All right, let's get back to it, shall we? The thing is, I kind of maybe I don't want to build that all the way up. It's the overhang that's the issue. Yeah, actually, I think what I'm going to do. Is build from the top downwards on this one. Sounds a little bit of a strange way to do things, but let's give it a try. So on the opposite side, I went with. You can barely see it, but there's like dark oak, I think. Or is that spruce? A little bit of cha-cha. Some more sprucey stuff. Let's see if we can grab these things. So in our discussion with iJevin, I did talk a little bit about inventory management. And like, you could argue that I could do a little bit of a better job here of organizing this stuff. And that's definitely true. But it takes time to organize. Like quite a lot of time. And I don't feel like we have the tools to make that particularly easy. And so when it comes to these big building projects, you know, I start off with just a couple of shulker boxes and all the right materials, and then you just start accumulating stuff. And you just keep chucking it out of sight, like, hey, I'll deal with that later. Because you don't want to be traveling back and forth between, like, a permanent spot for where you've organized. Because you tend to organize in a more permanent way, right? Sniper1974, thank you ever so much for 107 months. Very much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Peeps, the stream anniversary is coming up, right? 10 years on Twitch. If y'all got any ideas for what I should do for that, feel free to suggest them. I've currently not really got much going on in my head. I think when we hit 10 years on YouTube, I did like a 6-hour stream where we just like looked over all the old videos on the channel. And I don't feel like that really translates to Twitch very much. So I'm kind of not sure what to do. Just do the EGA vault on LPM4. I've heard negative things about this, I think. I think you're just setting me up for a fail, right? Yeah, I think I'm actually going to start down where that moss is. Oh, I missed it. And it's dark. I need my one torch to get me through this build. It's very... Dang it. It shouldn't have happened. Right, I'm in the correct spot this time. Add a 10-year B-Day cake on the hype train. I'm not going to do like a special animation for the one-off, nah. Left it way too late for anything like that. Have I seen the new crate mod update? If so, thoughts. I haven't seen the new crate mod update. What did they add? Reacting to old clips would be fun. It might be, but the thing is, like, where do I get all those old clips from, right? Oh, I'm kind of way off here. That might not be a bad thing. Just do a little bit of this. It's kind of the plan anyway. Oh. Asking the community, says Maddie. Yeah, you gotta think about it from like my perspective here. Like, you don't make a plan on someone else's like contribution because you know, I don't know what that's going to yield, right? Like, I might get a couple of clips, I might get enough for a whole stream, I don't know, but like asking other people to do the lifting there, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if I want to do something special, I don't want it to be just like, you know, 5 minutes of clips or something, and then, oh, we haven't got any more. Because, like, that's a lot of heavy lifting to go and seek out clips from old streams and stuff. That's just a bit much, I think, to ask people to do. You could use a Google form link and Twitter and YouTube. Yeah, again, like, my gut tells me that's not a good way to approach trying to do something like this, right? Like, if someone sent me, hey X, I just spent the past, 10 weeks looking at all your old content and getting clips from it, and like, here's 100 clips, I'd be like, oh my god, wow, okay, let's do something with that. But like, I'm not gonna make a plan on anticipating that people would do that for you, right? Does that make sense? How about watching and commenting on your earliest Hermitcraft episodes and streams? Yeah, it doesn't strike me as being particularly like interesting or entertaining. Like, streams aren't quite like the YouTube stuff. When we did the YouTube stream, we went back over all the old videos, and for me that was like, I look at the thumbnails, I remember what they're about, it comes together in a different way. Streams are just so much more like the passing of time rather than little creations. It's like a musician talking about an album and a song that they released or whatever, as opposed to talking about those weeks that they spent, with the band writing riffs or whatever, right? Like, there might be a couple of good stories in there, a couple of little interesting tidbits, but the takeaway is kind of like, that was just jamming, like, how do you describe that? Whereas you could say a lot about how a song came together, how it was released, how it was received, etc. That's kind of like the analogy I would use here. Movie stream, it doesn't strike me as something I could do much with. Plus, why would it be a movie for 10 years? Sometimes there just isn't a good idea as well, right? Like, yeah, it might be a 10-year landmark, but there's not really much I can do that signifies that. Like, we have had a few stream-only worlds that I could potentially revisit, but that doesn't really, to me, I don't know, it doesn't, something about streaming is so different, it doesn't strike me as really, like, suiting that kind of thing. But, we'll explore ideas. If I sound a little dismissive, it's just, this is a tough cookie, right? Maybe a Q&A, says Peppermint Butter. Every stream I do is a Q&A, right? Every single stream that I do is a Q&A, so, like, it's not much different there in my mind. Tour of old Hermitcraft seasons. That might not be a bad idea, actually. It feels like it's been a long time since I've done Hermitcraft tours, and I had to open up the worlds recently and have a look at them and storage systems and stuff. And it just got me thinking, like, I used to periodically come back when I was doing YouTube, not so much for streaming. I used to periodically come back and look at the Hermitcraft worlds. We would have like little introspective moments, but then the years kept ticking by, the worlds kept adding up, and it just felt kind of weird. It was like, there's enough backlogged Hermitcraft stuff now that it could, I could fill weeks of time going back looking at those old worlds again. And so it sort of starts to feel a bit strange to do that when there's so much in the history. Does that make sense? That is true, I just love asking questions. Well, that's what the stream's for, right? You ask the question, I answer. But yeah, so there's so much like Hermitcraft history now that it feels a bit weird to go back, because maybe it was like going back felt a bit more complete. So in season 3, if I did a little retrospective on seasons 1 and 2, then that's the end of it. Whereas now it's like, there's just so much history. It's like, how do you get through it all? How do you quantify it? You loved seeing you revisit the evolution of your storage, says Umbrella. I'm glad you enjoyed that, because originally that video was just my season 11 storage system, right? And then as I started to think about like explaining previous ones, I started to toy around with calling it the evolution, to be a part of like the evolution series, which I haven't done a video on in a long time. And I kind of like had a schedule. I had a plan of like, I prepped all this stuff. It's going to come out on this day, on Monday. And then I think I would have liked to have actually spent a little bit more time on it, because the idea changed from being just about the season 11 to being like a retrospective thing, and because of that I actually missed out on season 3. I was thinking about it, and I had this memory of there being some sort of like automated storage in the base area that I had, but then I wasn't so sure about it, and I was like, whatever, I'll skip that one. Whereas what I really should have done is started with season 1, 2, and 3. That would have just been nice to have seen, you know? Because even in season 1, there was a method to the way I stored stuff. I feel like I kind of like goofed there. Like, if I could amend that video, I'd add in season 1, 2, and 3 to it, right? And that would be cool. That would be cool. Anyway, you know, nothing really worth worrying about in the grand scheme of things. I feel you, X. This year's my 20th year as a K-pop fan, Korean music, and some people ask me to recap my 20 years, and it's just impossible, says Sumi. Yeah, that's interesting, because I've been a fan of music for... Jeez. I'm going to show my age a bit here. Like, music's been strong in my life for like 25 years. So... like, if someone asked me to recap all of that, I'd be like, geez, that's crazy. But like, where do you start, right? Well, you can go linearly through the years. It's just, it becomes so much, right? Like, because that's such a large amount of information that you're trying to put into one thing. Because along the way, it all feels so personal and vivid, and then as it racks up, it becomes difficult. X suddenly feels old, Sasumi. I've been saying I feel old for ages. I joke though. I still feel young. Young and healthy. How long it'll last, God knows. I feel like this is very suitable with the way we've done... Actually, I think I'm going to raise it up by 1 and then put a copper below it. This is quite in tune with the way we've done other stuff around the base area. Okay, so this wall here is going to be a different material now, I think. I think I might go with this. I've barely used this plank anywhere. So I have that now at this level. Or maybe... feels like it needs a lip or something there. Oh, do you know what we could use? Some trapdoors, a little bit of 3D space, right? And then we can claim these back. X, do you know about the edits of you on TikTok? People really like the Xisuma call where you were playing that scary game and screaming. It's funny. I went on TikTok recently and saw a little bit of it, right? Because I was using the hashtags for a video, and I noticed that there were a bunch of hashtags related to myself, and I wasn't entirely like sure what I was going to find, like what's on my hashtag. And there's someone talking about things that I say on my stream as if they're like chatting to other people. It gave me like a real window into how TikTok works, at least something that I had assumed sort of became a bit more obvious. But like, TikTok is kind of like having a conversation with other people sometimes. So there were these videos where someone was just sort of reiterating things that I've been saying on my stream as if to inform other people. I found that really quite fascinating, and it kind of showed me how TikTok works. It also like made me feel like there's a lot of talk about like people being lonelier than ever and isolated and stuff. And when I saw that, I was like, this is the kind of thing you would chat with your friends about with, right? Is that being replaced by TikTok? Is TikTok replacing a part of your life where you would gossip with friends about this such and such thing, right? That's what it struck me as well. I was like, this is kind of like, you know, you go see your friends and you talk about things you're interested in, but now TikTok is like cutting into that time and space. it's being that friend that chats to you about those things you're interested in, right? Expert on TikTok, says Maddie. I'm literally on TikTok right now. Let's see what TikTok has to say. I have to wait for the chat to catch up first. Because, I mean, now's a perfect time for people on TikTok to chime in, because we're literally talking about some of the content under the Xisuma hashtag. Like, I've become so aware of these impacts social media has had on us, and now I'm starting to like deliberately fly in the other direction if I have the opportunity to. So like I'm never gonna scroll up on TikTok. I'm just never gonna do it. It's like, nope. Don't wanna shorten my attention span. I don't want this to be my form of entertainment. That's how I feel. I wanna get into books and movies and long form content. That's what I find to be like deeply rewarding, not quick dopamine cycles of like next buzzy thing that will entertain your brain for 10 seconds before you swipe up. I think that TikTok is generally really fun and easy, which isn't good for you, says Ezekiel Herb. Yeah, not everything that is immediately fun, easy, gratifying, etc. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a wholly positive thing, right? There can be negatives to such things, like I was saying with the dopamine rush, you know. It's not good to constantly pump your brain with little rewards. It's hijacking some of our evolutionary systems, you know. Anyway, TikTok, feel free to engage. I've got the chat on my screen. But as for replacing it in-person relationships, it doesn't do that well. Yeah, it doesn't. In-person relationships are always going to be more rewarding. Is there any advice you would give to someone who's thinking of starting to stream Minecraft? Yep, just start. Stop thinking, start doing. Like most things in life. Just start doing. I think what I'm going to do is just I'm trying to look at like how to get this little wall here to build up, but the thing is, it's not something we're going to look at that often. We're looking at it right now, but that ain't going to last. So I think it just makes sense to just put blocks here, basically. Just start placing blocks and figure it out. So if we do that, going all the way up, I think what we want to do just here is have the spruce come out as well. Is that spruce? It is, yeah. We'll put that there, and then that will go upwards. And then it will all fit together, I think. What really concerns me is the new AI friends/girlfriends. Let's put a pin on that one and come back to that in a second, because there's some other stuff I wanted to talk about at some point today. And that was something that like popped into my head when I was listening to this book earlier. I was like, ooh. Criterion says, me and my friends do watch the same stuff, but there's still a lot of fandoms that we don't share. And TikTok fills this void. Yeah, okay, so like, let's take that idea and flip it on its head, right? What if it's not a void that you're filling? What if it's a void you're creating between your friends? Fandoms are like online communities. They're not IRL communities. And I think we are wired more for IRL community than we are online community. This is in the context of like having a loneliness and isolation crisis, as some people would describe it, within, you know, a generation that's growing up chronically online. So that perspective of like, but my friends IRL don't like the things that I do. Like, what did people do before the internet? Did they have that same problem? They didn't actually have that problem. They weren't given a bunch of fandoms to be separated between people they knew. You would bond over commonalities and things that you shared together. So there's always like a flip to this. Anyway, this book that I'm listening to is absolutely amazing. I I've never been so engrossed in a book, and I'm listening to it thinking like, I want to listen to this again at some point, because so much of it is just deeply insightful. And I love the way this guy, he approaches things from sort of like a very analytical, uninvested way of looking at the world, our role in it, our history. And it's gone into this chapter about consumerism, right? And if you're a young person out there, at some point in your little teenage philosophy journey, you become aware of consumerism. And depending on how you're introduced to it, you might see it as a blight on the world and have us kind of like, not so much naive take on it, but just sort of like amateurish. It's a hard thing to describe unless you've kind of lived it a little bit, I guess. So like, I look back at some of my teenage philosophies, air quote, and they look quite kind of naive and simple-minded, but you know, it's your way of like learning about things and being introduced to certain concepts and whatnot. So consumerism is this one topic that we got interested in introduced to. Let's come back to this in a moment, because the building is put in a pickle in front of me. Homestead Noob says, what if you don't just have IRL people? Yeah, but it's like a feedback loop. Like, where did this start, right? So the internet is pulling apart these IRL communities that we have, and it's forcing us to become a part of these online communities. And it's like, that's the problem, right? Like, you might not have IRL people because you're spending too much time online. And oh, I thought I was in free cam. Believe me, I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. I am a very online person. I'm just also quite aware of that. Like, I don't want to deceive myself, if that makes sense. I'm not going to be shy about it. Like, this could be a problem for me. I just seem to be like quite a comfortable person, quite an introverted. Don't need a lot of social contact. I seem to be okay. Like, I tend to like get a lot of energy and meaning from things that aren't social. That's just me though, right? Like, the majority of people, I don't think are wired that way. Right, now that I think I know what I'm doing, and I think it involves me getting some more achacha wood, so let's go chop trees, which is a very simple activity that allows me to think about other stuff at the same time. Okay, just going to drop off a few more items, I think. Kind of done with bamboo for the minute. Okay, so what was it? That thing. Okay. I'm gonna minimize TikTok now. Jay Gary, thank you ever so much for 20 months, my dude. Appreciate your support. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Consumerism. That was it. Consumerism. So you get introduced to this idea of consumerism. Anyway, in this book, the way this guy kind of depicted it was that you have like market forces that emerge. So you have the emergence of the state, where communities used to be like more family oriented and self-governed. So imagine rolling back history, and this is another reason I love learning about history, is because it teaches you about how things have changed. And it's really important to understand that, because it allows you to then hold it in contrast to what currently exists. You're able to go like, this is the way things are today, but they weren't always this way, and people got by living in these different systems and stuff. So it might not be obvious, but roll back to the agricultural age, and there wasn't a police force, there weren't hospitals, there weren't schools, right? These things were all done by families and communities that were very tight-knit and woven together. You couldn't get on a train and go to the next city. Most people would live their lives within a certain area, and that would be it. By the way, I got my microphone on, and I might be just like blasting some philosophy to some unintended bystanders, except no one's online. There was a few other hermits on a little while ago, so we're in the clear there. Okay, I see a couple of really interesting questions messages come through, but I'm gonna stay on topic. I'm gonna stay on topic for a second. I'm gonna get through this, right? So, the state eventually develops, right? Like we're talking about leaving the feudal system. So now you have like governments that have taxation, big budgets. They start introducing public schools, you know, hospitals, police forces, this kind of stuff. And this you know also coincides with people being able to move around more. This starts to break down that family structure, because your family used to be the people that would take care of you if you got sick, if you needed to be educated as a child. Like families did all of this. It wasn't schools. It wasn't hospitals that cared for the sick. Those things didn't exist yet. Fall Girl says, what's the name of the book? The name of the book is called Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. It is honestly a fantastic perspective on just, it's deeply fascinating, that book. I can't recommend it enough. I've had it in my library for like 4 or 5 years. I think literally since it came out. And I listened to the guy on podcasts and I'm like, man, this guy is smart. I need to listen to this book. And then I just never got around to it. And now that I've got around to it, I'm like, this is awesome. How did I not decide to listen to this book sooner? I don't know. So yeah, so you have the state emerges, and it stands in contrast to traditional values, right? You have traditional ways in which families used to operate, close-knit communities and stuff, and the state and capital means that they produce lots of goods, they have a surplus of goods, and they want you to consume them. So they start to sell you this idea that you are an individual in society, and they start to through marketing and probably, you know, I don't know, influencing authors and those kind of, what they call them these days, thought leaders, those kind of circles of people discussing what's going on in the world and whatnot. Like they want to get people to think as individuals and turn them into consumers, so that you constantly consume stuff, right? And I never thought about it that way before. This idea that it emerges from the same thing that brings all these other goods into the world. Like, I think it's incredible we live in a day and age where we've got like the NHS and the miracles of modern technology, right? But as they come along, they change the shape of other things as well. They change how we see ourselves. They change the communities that we're a part of. And some of these things are like deeply ingrained in us. They've been a part of how we've existed for a very long time. Evolutionary psychology, one might refer to it as, you know, like your behavior and how you feel and think informed by deep instincts within you that have been built out of evolution. Apothecata says, yes, capitalism is very isolating. We have independence, but also the breakdown of community. Yes, yeah, that's what it feels like. You know, double-edged swords seem to be everywhere. You push things in one direction, something else gets pulled in another, right? So the current technological path we're on is like with social media seems to be quite isolating in general. We're supposedly all more connected and closer, and we can, you know, talk to this person who's in that part of the world and hear about this thing the second it happens. But at what price? People don't know what's going on in their local community. They don't know anyone that lives nearby them anymore, right? Unwoven Rainbow says, oh yeah, that book was also on my list at some point and never got around to it. Just go for it. Just dive in. It starts pretty, it hits the ground running. Like, it won't take you long and you'll be sucked in. There's only one part of the whole book so far that I've skipped, and it was on religion. It kind of just went deep into a lot of like religious motivations for stuff, which I really struggled with because I don't have any like religiosity in myself. So when you get into like the motivations of faith and ideas like this, it just doesn't have anything for me. You started going to a knitting group. It's so nice actually talking in person rather than just sharing photos, and getting to know my neighbours helps me feel safer. Yeah, that sounds great. You visited friends the other day that you made on the Xisumaverse. Personally, I'm really happy that I found the community and for the connections I made there. That's awesome. NFS Crips says, I wish I was more spiritual. Yeah, spiritual is a word that's like a little bit fuzzy. Being someone who like really values science and a scientific way of looking at things, and then it stands in contrast to something like religion, which I think holds a bit of power over that word. For me, I find there's like a spirituality in the awe of learning about like the scale and size of the universe and all the incredible phenomena out there. Like, I stand in awe of like how we learned how things work through like physics and maths, right? Those are deeply awe-inspiring to me, and like I would say like that feels like a spiritual dimension potentially, because you know how language works. It's like the sky is blue, but is my blue your red? Like, how would we ever figure that out, right? That old cookie. It's like that. It's like, I think I feel something in me that I would call spiritual, but it isn't religion. It's like the awe of understanding the existence we exist in. And I don't even understand half the stuff. I just listen to like books and YouTube entertainment videos about science stuff. It goes in one ear, goes out the other. Like I listen to loads of stuff about like physics, but couldn't teach anyone what. Don't even really understand it at the end of the day. It's not like you're actually learning it. It's like entertainment. But yeah, that's the stuff that's like air quotes spiritual for me, I think. You're studying psychology right now, and this topic is extremely fitting. Psychology is another really fascinating one. Evolutionary psychology is one of my favorite topics there. Just the idea that like our deep, genetic instincts from evolution can explain behaviors today. I find that concept like really interesting, and especially all the different theories that come from it. To be fair, many great scientists are also religious because the stuff they research and find in nature just seems too good and neat to be a coincidence, says Callie. I'm not so sure about that. Like, yes, there probably are, but like, if you quantify it, I think it would take a lot of work to like quantify something like that. Like, you might find that people who become scientists lose faith as well. Like, that's like there's a lot of numbers there to untangle into a sentiment. And as for like nature just seems too good and neat to be a coincidence, that sounds to me like listening to a particular interpretation of it, because that just sounds like a sentimental description of nature. Like, one of the arguments that comes up in design versus evolution is like making the argument that the eye is too perfect to have evolved, right, through this process. Like, it is clearly designed. But when you stop and think about it, it's like, well, okay, so the eye doesn't see all ranges of light. We figured that out. There's actually more ranges of light it doesn't see. And then what about like at the end of the day when your eyes get tired, or over time, you know, they lose their fidelity. You know, as you get older, your eyesight's going to diminish somewhat. Some people need glasses. Some people have visual impediments. Like, there's a lot of flaws there for something that's supposed to be perfect, right? And I feel like they've got the argument the wrong way around. It's like, it's almost like because there's all these flaws that exist within it, you know, that would make more sense from an evolutionary perspective. Matty says, in my opinion, it's not design, it's more like trial and error that happened over hundreds of millions of years. Yeah, yeah. I did an evolutionary psych paper, but it was really fascinating, but unfortunately a lot of people use the findings to be sexist. I think I know what you're getting at, because a lot of them revolve around the difference between sexes. I don't know particularly what you've read, but I can kind of see how some of that stuff might seem a bit uncomfortable. I think if you're gonna like delve into the differences between people from a genetic level, like it can get uncomfortable. And I can get how that would like make you feel that way. Yeah, someone earlier, right? They commented on how. Oh, I gotta think for a second, because there was a bit in this book that it really like linked up with. Yeah, we talked about consumerism, right? And how it's sort of going hand in hand with like isolationism. So you become more of an individual, and it's more about you and your experiences and identifying yourself as the experiences that you have. As opposed to being a part of a community, right? And how capitalism, you know, produces a surplus and wants to sell you this surplus. And for that, you need to be an individual. It's harder to sell things to these communities that govern themselves and take care of things themselves, is kind of the idea. So this whole thing about like AI companions and girlfriends and whatnot, I mean boyfriends as well, I'm sure. Like, that stuff is so hideous to me already. Like, I'm really curious about like where AI is going and what we're going to achieve with it, and some of the achievements we've made with medical science, especially the whole folding proteins thing, is just incredible. Like, there are clear, amazing benefits we're going to reap from this. Then there's the not so convincing stuff, which is definitely chatbots. Using chatbots to interpret language to turn them into instructions for like automation of certain medial tasks. That seems like, all right, this could be something, right? But then we're now using AI to outsource our relationships too, right? And that's a product that you're being sold. It fits into that consumerism thing that we were just talking about. We're getting lonelier, and now the solution is going to be another product that will be sold to you. You know? Why have IRL friends when you can have online relationships that never disagree with you? You know? That's where we're heading. And it's not good. I do think you can maybe boil it down to sort of saying something like, hardship and struggle can be good for you. It can build character and whatnot, as they say. Right? But like, where are our social skills and stuff going to be going if we're just going to end up socializing with AI bots that never disagree with us? Like, what are we building for ourselves? How is this going to change our society? All the blocks that don't let you share the passwords for services or even physical copies of software showcase really how scared of a community capitalism is. I'm not so sure about that. I'll have to think on that a little bit. Autumn says, that's my job. Convert unstructured data like invoice into structured data for other companies to use further. So So you get like, yeah, you're like organizing information. You're structuring it. But that are you saying that that's what an AI is going to do? Because that sounds like what an AI might do at some point. I forgot what I was going to do here. I wanted a bit more cha-cha wood for something. Oh, I think I kind of remember now. I was going to go... just add a bit of a... I think we'll make this a bit deeper than I was originally going to. Like that. Is that visible on the other side? I'll take it back. No point wasting a few blocks. And then we'll bring it around like that. I think that works, yeah. We use AI to do that, yeah. We just made all the tooling around it to make it easier for anyone who wants to set up and use. Nice. Do you like working with it? Also, hi. Like, it's clearly the future, and the thing about, like, this disruptive, displacive technology is that that's actually, like, our entire history coming out of, you know, the agricultural revolution to where we are today at a breakneck speed. It's all, you know, waves of displacement. Where are all the horse drivers, right? I think ultimately it's something like, it may not exactly be right if you frame it in some sort of context of what should be right or not, but it's gonna happen, and it makes far more sense to like go with the flow than to fight it, in my opinion. People are lonely, they seek companionship. I think it means seek. There's more online communication than face-to-face, and finding someone online could be someone in another continent. Seek. Yeah, so like, I don't know quite what you're trying to say with that, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, we think, you can think this is positive, it's easier to connect online, but you got to flip it. And maybe connecting with people online isn't as valuable as connecting with people IRL. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, it's some people would suggest that we were happier being in local communities. You know, that we didn't choose. We didn't choose who was our community. You were brought into one, right? And then you would be happy with that. I think a really good example of why that might be so is just to like pick something like religion. You know, why Christianity and not a different religion, like being Muslim or something. And it's literally like geographical. You know, you can map out religions to geography. It's about where you grow up and what part of a community you are, or what part of a community you're in. So people are clearly comfortable with becoming a part of a community and developing identity and belief structures around that. Yet this individualism thing, we tend to go online and then get fractured from that and think we have to seek out like a sort of our individual identity and then find the other people who are like that, right? That wasn't a problem pre-internet. No one was going like, wait, where do I go find the other people that like this obscure thing that I like? We didn't have obscure things to like. So like it's both the problem and the remedy is kind of what I'm saying. It's both. But it's up to you to decide which one is it more of than the other. I'm only cool using AI of use for detecting things a few years before usual, like breast cancer. That's medical. There's tons of medical applications. My personal stance on AI, I think I'm generally optimistic. It's generative AI that's I'm not so keen on. And originally, I kind of saw it as being a great thing, but there's just something ugly about it. The more that it's stuck around. There's just something kind of ugly about generative AI. Whereas using AI to solve problems and do labor and other things, solving problems, advancing science and technology, that is all great. I'm here for all of that. It's just a tool like any other. The problem is how people use it. That's also very true, I think. That is true most of the time, but there are examples of people moving or being an outcast from their community they didn't fit in. Yeah, definitely right, Miki. Definitely right. There are examples of people like that, but much less, right? So, like, what caused them to be that way? I don't know. But you can introduce a new technology and then you can get more people that feel like they're outcasts. It's like some stuff will just be the way you are, genetics, like other stuff will be influenced by your surroundings. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And I think there's a lot of that influence from this technology. Like it's sold to you as the remedy, but it's also the poison. And I think probably for most people here right now, AI relationships will probably all tick that box and go, yeah, this looks really uncomfortable, or like things could go in the wrong direction, however we want to word it. But then there will be kids that grow up with that stuff. It's on their device, it's just completely normalized, and they won't see it the same way. The same way that older generations, you know, maybe some of y'all got a granddad, a grandmother, and they just don't do anything online. They just don't care about the internet, right? They just don't get it. It's easy to think, oh, you're old. It's a little harder to think, wait, they never grew up with this stuff. It doesn't mean anything to them. They don't want to know what someone said on Twitter. They want to go see their friends and relatives that they've stayed in contact with for many, many years, right? We're going to lose those connections before long. Before long, we're going to be the old people, right? And the old ways will be forgotten. Am I a rambling madman, or am I making sense, chat? I'll let you have the final word on it. I'm not sure what one I am. It'll be the replacement for imaginary friends for young people. Yeah, it might be. My parents and brother are not online. I'm the only one with a social media presence, and we respect each other. It's fine. Oh, I'm glad you have respect for each other. That's awesome. I wasn't suggesting there's a lack of respect. Old man here, you speak the truth. Can the answer be both? I guess maybe. Have you watched the film Her, about a guy who falls in love with his AI assistants? Yeah, I watched that recently. That is a cringe-inducing movie, if ever I've seen one. I mean, it's brilliant. It's a great movie, but man, it is difficult to watch at parts. I think the majority of point saying I'm making sense, but there's always a little bit more nuance to it. Right, let's yeah, look at the way that cleans up now, like... Oh, and there's a torch to go get rid of. Right, let's do that then. Not landing these jumps where I want to land them. Not sure if that lock got away. After this whole thing is finished, I'm gonna have to check a lot of like places for spots where items might have accidentally gone into. You love my rambling, so I'm glad you do, because I ramble a lot. Right, we'll take that then. There's still like loads of work to do on this thing, like flowers and stuff I want to put. I didn't really figure out what flowers would fit out the front here. I gotta say, actually, I think bushes might be the way to go. Maybe like ferns and grass would look better there. Something we can start to get stuck in with, I guess. Is it all mob proof, says Maddie? I haven't done that check. It needs to be done. That is a check that needs to be done. Good point. Rose bushes? Nah, that's not the direction we're going to go in. I think it needs to be mild looking stuff. So I've got some ferns, I've got some grass. like this and that. And maybe if it's like directly under a block of bamboo. Same for sugarcane, but sugarcane's a little too saturated. I feel like there was something else that popped into... Oh yeah, bushes. Gotta get those bushes. They can go up there. Birch leaves would probably look alright amongst the rabble. Some bushy azalea. Imaginary friends, but AI removes the imagination, which I think will be incredibly harmful and reinforce a learned helplessness that we're already seeing in a younger generation, at least online, says Numpikai. Yeah, that helplessness thing, like, I see that a lot, and when I see it come up, sometimes it's talked about a little too combatively or whatever for my liking. But what's the terminology that gets thrown around? Like, is it cuddling a generation or something like that? There's a term that gets thrown around. Coddling, a coddled generation, where you got these old boomers saying, oh, this young generation is soft or whatever. Like, they've got a really bad way of talking about it, in my opinion. Whereas, I think what you could say is happening is that when you create a society that protects people from going through hard things, like, yes, we don't want people to go through bad experiences and whatnot, but you also then, you don't get the flip side of going through bad things, right? It's often worded as like making tougher people or whatever, but I feel like it catches the wrong kind of rhetoric. Helicopter, tiger, curling, enabling. No, it's definitely coddling. Coddling is the term. Gentle parenting is another one, yeah. I don't know if y'all like see the same information that I see out there because we all live in our little bubbles, but as someone who tends to try and keep a foot in two camps, like see either side of things, you know, I'll listen to something about how schools implement like new educational programs and practices to protect kids from certain harms that they might encounter in the environment. And then I'll listen to the other side that will say that this is going to like weaken kids and they're not going to learn how to do this thing and that thing. The problem is like they tend to get like pushed to extremes on either side, rather than maybe getting to like the core of the issue, explaining it well, and letting people figure stuff out for themselves. Learned helplessness is an odd thing. There's some families that maybe fit that, but then there's similar families that teaches to Google everything and learn what you can then touch base if you're unsure. Life experiences are needed, it just needs to be balanced with harm reduction. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Kids aren't learning by playing or experimenting, they're only learning from what's fed to them on their iPads. The amount of iPad consumption is kind of crazy. Kids are starting to get raised on iPads. That is something I have noticed. You go out to a restaurant, there's a kid, you know, sitting, watching an iPad. When I was a kid, used to go out to restaurants with my parents or whatever. There wasn't an iPad to entertain us. And now I look and I was like, what did my parents do with me when I was a kid? You know, like, I don't know what the alternative is. Now the kids just sitting in the restaurants with the coloring book. Yeah. And so, right, so like, what's the common theme when we have these little waffles about going further back in history and stuff? Like, I can almost imagine there being a generation that would frown on the coloring books and be like, they should be sat still, paying attention to the conversation or whatever. I don't know. I'm making stuff up now, but like, whenever we get that generational gap and people are complaining about how things are, it then makes me wonder, you know, well, what about what became before it? So like, you've got the you kids today and your iPads, and then the generation behind them are like, you kids today in your colouring books. When we were kids, we sat at the table and we stared at the wall. It could literally be like that. It could literally be like that. There'll always be complaints between generations, but that doesn't invalid legitimate criticisms over children being addicted to tech. Not at all, not at all. I wasn't trying to undermine that. I just think the generational perspective is interesting because it shows you the changing values and times, and I think it's interesting to look at what's changed and analyze what we might be losing, right? But change is the force that just can't be slowed down, really. Like, we just have to navigate it the best we can. Ah! And we will navigate it better if we take the time to reflect on how things used to be, rather than just go blindly in. These humans these days using all this oxygen, says Autumn. Yeah, I mean, 200 years ago we used so much less oxygen, right? I wonder why that is. Wonder why that is. Yeah, I like these darker ones already. Especially here at the front with the lights directly above them. That's a good one for it. Back in my day, we made the meals for our parents. Is that a thing? Like, that wouldn't surprise me if in some cultures. I can't imagine that though. I can't imagine kids doing the cooking. That just sounds like a recipe for disaster. A recipe for disaster. Come on now, I'm here all day. I'm here all day. I think it's the iPads that are overstimulating. Kids are struggling to regulate emotions and handle how low stimulus environments. I literally heard those sorts of words in a recent report that got published. It was a follow-up to a study they did 4 years ago on kids and iPads. And they recently revisited it, and apparently the numbers haven't actually moved that much, so there hasn't been like a big uptick in the amount of kids like using iPads, but basically it's still lots. I think 40%, it's like 40% of kids these days own their own iPad. That's probably within the particular demographic / area that they conducted these surveys. But anyway, so yeah, so literally what you said was kind of, that sounds almost like word for word one of their conclusions that they came up with. Kind of crazy. Incredible joke, and also the build's looking fantastic, says Nump PKI. Thank you, my dude, thank you. Appreciate the kind words. Your biggest pet peeve is when the speaker calling someone people do nowadays. Calling some people do nowadays? I don't know what you're saying there. I get asked to help with meals quite often, starting from when I was around 8. I think that can be good. Kids need a bit of space to play, but helping out with responsibilities and chores, I think that can be a good thing too. A lot of this stuff though, it's like how? It's like if you have an abusive parent that's like lazy and just saying, "Oh, you need to do this," not good. But if you have a loving parent who wants to teach you some life skills and get you cooking, get you interested in these things, that can be great. When I'm with my nephew and my niece and I'm doing a bit of cooking for them, I always try and get them interested. And they'll come round and they'll like stand and watch me do some stuff, and then I'll get them to help me with other bits, and they love it. They love learning. They're interested. And it seems to be good for them, right? Sorry, non-native speaker. I mean people who phone on loudspeaker. I get you now. People walking around going, yeah, mate, yeah, what's happening? Like on their phone as loud as possible. I love overhearing blokes talk about knocking people out. And it's like, it's just complete BS. It's so funny to me. Because I overheard this one. I remember where it was, but actually, I've got a weird feeling this memory is actually a dream, but whatever. If it were a dream or not, the context is that I overheard some bloke talking at and this guy is skinny, right? Skinny and small. If you were sizing them up, you'd be like, you don't look like you're in good shape at all. Huge mouth on the guy, anyway. And he was just talking about like taking on bouncers as he made his way out of like a club, and how he like put 3 of these massive, ginormous 6-foot bouncers on the ground. And it just felt like such BS, such a fragile ego on display. It cracked me up immensely. Did the TikTok people have anything to say? Sorry I missed the moment. Let's go find out what the TikTok people have to say. I need to leave it on my screen for a moment to let it all catch up, but it will catch up. That it will. Sounds like that guy was showing some compensation behavior. Yeah, well, you get a lot of that if you... I go to football, so I see a lot of that. I see a lot of people, oh my god, like... Oh, just... Yeah, I've been in the parts of the crowd where they'll just start jeering at people in the other part of the crowd. And like, there's always someone who's like, you know, giving it the big un, I'll see you outside the match. And at the last one I was at, this bloke looked really skinny, right? Like, it looked like you could just push him over. And I just hate seeing that. It's so sad. It's so silly. It's so silly, like, just how they're gonna stand there and act like a big man who can fight everyone, right? I just don't like it. I don't like it. It's sad. It's just like an obvious, like, display of a psychological deficit, is how I think of it. I remember I saw like one bloke one time, like, run, because there was fighting between the 2 different ends, and this one bloke just decided, like, yeah, let's go, you know, jump in the crowd and fight them lot. And as he runs onto the pitch and turns around and realizes he's on his own, right? You can see this moment where he's like, well, I'm committed, so F it. And he jumps in and absolutely gets his head kicked in. Like, just gets completely flattened, disappears. There's a bunch of people around him kicking and punching. And it's like, why are you doing this? What are you proving? You're proving nothing. and risking everything. And it's, you know, probably just to show off you're a hard man to your mates. It's just, oh, it's ridiculous. You're playing on Java, but your HUD kind of looks like Bedrock. That's probably because I have a resource pack to change a couple of things. Axmidos on TikTok. That's what TikTok's talking about, my HUD. There you go. Get a little bit of TikTok interaction over here, shall we? J-Win says, thanks X for creating this wonderful community to be able to discuss these topics, and much thanks for your very informative rambling, says Jerry. And now you must leave this community and find an IRL community and forge real relationships. That is semi-sarcasm. I appreciate everything you just said, man. That's awesome, thank you. At the same time, though, like, part of what I was saying is that these online communities aren't real communities, right? Zingray says, I believe social media is ruining relationships. Social media creates a fake expectation of what a relationship is like. A friend of mine started dating a young girl who only recently started dating. It did not work out, and after hearing both sides, it was clear she was influenced on what a relationship should be like based on how she saw social media and how perfect it seemed. Yep, social... Oh, wrong key. Social media, if you spend your time on Instagram, or, you know, not just Instagram, like, there's lots of places, I mean, even watching YouTube videos, like, you're shaping your experience of the world and other people through an environment that isn't that. And I absolutely agree. It's got some detrimental effects. I do believe being aware of this can be quite helpful at the same time, but majoritively, having lived through the great social media experiment now of the past 10 years, it feels like it's had a net negative outcome for us. Right, I'm minimizing TikTok because those lot over there are quiet, yo. What are we talking about? Just joined, says Bob the Great. We've been talking about a book that I've been reading and how like it's got some really potent parts in it that are just really fascinating. I mean, here's another one that I listened to today, okay? This blew my mind because the way the guy writes the book, I think he really like cuts into like what's the deeper truth about this idea. And the way he articulated this next thing, I mean, I'm gonna butcher it. You should go get this book and listen to it for yourself. It's called Sapiens. It's great. There's this chapter on time, the invention of time, right? Which sounds almost a little bit silly, like you can't invent time or whatever. But he points out that in the past, communities... Did I just hear a witch? I did. Now this witch is having a bad time. Now I'm having a bad time. Yo! You're there! I'm glad you're not a creeper. Now I can see you. See you later. I think I need to use the mini HUD tools. Okay. Ow. 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 Yeah, we got dark spots to fill up. I think I might save this ramble for the next stream actually. Because I'm gonna get... Ow! All sorts of distracted right now. Yeah, so I kind of need to... Yeah, I need to get rid of stuff like that because I don't want the light bleeding through to the other side. So I think what I need to do is come up here and like slab everything. Be the next step. Chat, I'm gonna take some questions. I'm gonna come up with a really interesting question or idea or something to talk about or just something you want to say based on all we've chatted about today. That's what we'll do next. That's what we're going to do. And then I'm going to save that little ramble for another time actually. Carpets? Oh, I'm going to use slabs. Do I have any plans for the spawner floating in the middle of loglands? I do, yes. I very much do. Okay, now technically I only need to do the bits that have the light level, but I'm actually going to just slab more because I may come back and adjust a few things around here and that all might change. Also looks like there's something over there. No, there isn't. So yeah, bits like this I might end up messing with the light levels, so let's just like cover it all. Don't know what I'm thinking. Do I think Decked Out 3 is going to happen? Yeah, I think one day there'll be Decked Out 3. I think Tango has said as much, right? You decided to start a YouTube channel. Can you give tips for survival building? I don't know. Be thoughtful about what you want to do. Have a plan. Have rhyme and reason behind the things that you do. I don't know if you caught Scar and Tango streaming the other day. Scar was explaining like his sight lines and stuff like that, and you know my takeaway was like this is brilliant, all the stuff he's doing with sight lines and whatnot. But the real thing is like having an idea behind your build and a rhyme and a reason to it, that goes really far. It doesn't have to be something like sightlines. Sightlines are great, and maybe sightlines plus this thing plus that thing makes you a better and better building. But a lot of the time it's like you can just go and build and not really think about it. But if you have rhyme and reason behind what you're building, that can do a lot for you. Scaffolding or dirt? I'd say resin. Resin. Have I checked out Magnolia Park? I have not. TikTok's an amazing creative outlet, partly because of its algorithm, but unfortunately because of TikTok's feed, it's meant to be endless. Most of the stuff you get on your For You page is now low quality, so you end up spending more time on TikTok than you should. Yeah, this is the low quality thing, right? So something I've been doing lately is like when I go to watch a video on YouTube, because YouTube's my platform, and now I'm starting to look at it like it's not perfect, I kind of try and ask myself, like, is this really worth my time? Is this person wasting my time in any way, right? Because YouTube becomes a cycle. Once you're a YouTuber and it's your job to make videos, you have to keep coming up with videos. And at some point, people will exhaust their relevancy, the thing that they originally signed up to do, right? And then does your video just become you trying to get people's attention so you get your views and you get paid? And when I think about it like that, I've noticed that there's a fair bit of content I consume and watch that is kind of going to be the same thing again the next time they put out a video. And so I've become like acutely aware of that, and now I'm being much more selective with what I choose to watch and reducing the amount of that and having more time to listen to this amazing audiobook, Sapiens. Like, I want to get to the really good quality. You know, I want to get to the best stuff. Everyone does, right? You don't want to watch a half-assed TV show. You want to watch the best one. There's only one The Wire, unfortunately. You know? There's only one Breaking Bad. Like, a lot of stuff is way more mediocre than we want to admit. So, like, how do you get to the really good stuff? Well, you got to start by cutting out the bad stuff. And for me, I've just noticed on YouTube that there is a lot of, like, lower effort, kind of run-of-the-mill content where, you know, the content creators got to keep doing their thing because this is what they do now, right? Gouda says, Sapiens was an amazing book, blew my mind in many ways. Same here, same here. I'm going to listen to that book again at some point after I finished it. Maybe one day, if I ever end up doing like Xisuma Says content again, like, I'll probably listen to that book again and like take some ideas from it and like go a little deeper into them, or like add my own thoughts to it or something. But yeah, I don't even know if I want to do that anymore. I feel like maybe that moment in time has passed. Shogun says, didn't know you were on Twitch. Man, you were my childhood like 8 years ago. Thanks for the content. Hey, thanks for watching, my dude. I'm glad to have entertained. And I've been on Twitch literally coming up to my 10-year anniversary in a little while. So yeah, anyway, if it sounds like I'm being a little bit harsh, like about that, I am a little bit being a little bit on the harsh side, like. But as a content creator, I've been on that treadmill myself, and I know it's there, and I think I see it a little easier in other content, and when I'm trying to be more protective of my time, that's kind of the way it, like, plays out in my head, is like, I know you have to make content, and that can mean, you know, this is just another thing that maybe didn't really need to be there. And for the creators that create stuff that I'm like less keen on, I'm noticing on my YouTube algorithm, I'm getting like a lot of this is insane about, like, someone's talking about some theme song melody. Someone just mentioned it in chat actually. Are you watching Severance? It was Severance. There was this video, like, why the Severance theme song is more unbelievably insane than you realize. I'm like, it's not more unbelievably sane than I realize. Like, I get it. You got something good to say about how they composed it. A really good one to go look up, actually, is The Matrix. Go look up how The Matrix score, the soundtrack, is composed. There's really interesting musical ideas being explored in there, right? But all this packaging and selling that, like, everything is like insane and mind-blowing, it's just I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of seeing it. It's now a turn-off for me. Now, if something is just unbelievably insane, I'm like, don't care. I don't care that it's unbelievably insane. I just don't care. It's now my cue to look the other way. It's like, What's that? Unbelievably insane? Nope, give me dull and boring, please. Right, I'm putting that there. Putting that there. What am I putting here, though? Should that be bamboo? I think it should. I think a little light on the top of that would be nice. I've got lights over here, I do. Yeah, so as we start to do the interior now, as we are working on, got to think about light levels again a little bit. I reckon the answer to this bit is kind of like right in front of me, actually. There we go. Let's take those blocks. Like, I don't need to do anything particularly fancy here, right? So it can just be like that. Then some sort of roof on here and everything will line up and it'll all be dandy. Let's go do a little bit of this. Yes, it's already starting to line up pretty well. I think I just need 2 of those. Some of them, actually some more of them. And then, yeah, some sort of stair block. What is the name of the author of the book? I'll look it up for you because it's not one I can say off the top of my head. I have to read it. But it's not a book. Like, if you look it up, you'll find it because it's really popular. Yuval Noah Harari is the name of the author. It's such a great book. It's such a great book. And I really love some of its historical takes on the period of history with empires. He's got some really good takes on how to like look at that stuff in a maybe different light than you'd expect. It's really, really good book. You have it. A good resource on clickbait is Veritasium's video. I agree, though. The unbelievably insane everything is annoying. This is Z1 Dragonfly. Yeah, his the Veritasium channel, that video on clickbait was great, and I watch everything Veritasium. Like, that is a solid channel. When they put something out, I feel like I know this is going to be worth my time, right? I can't say that for all the other content that I watch, which is kind of what I was getting at. I think, are these blocks here? Yeah, these blocks here don't actually have to be like that. Okay, so we can put in a bit more bamboo there. The Grian method. You know you can just walk away and it stops being a problem. What is that in relation to? I love how Veritasium seems to have really ramped up production roughly the past year. Yeah, they clearly got something good going with like different producers, more people involved, and yet the topics that they cover, it still feels like it's what Derek would normally do, but like obviously there's more people involved, so I think he's handled that really well. Transitioning to having a bigger team and making more content and stuff, that's been quite successful. I think we're kind of actually maybe done if we just put in a few more slabs, or I could put like trapdoors and something above them. Might be a little more interesting. Yo, we got a noise in here. It's Lizzie Bless. Sorry, Lizzie Bess. I just managed to put in an L, Lizzie. Sorry. Thank you for 67 months, Lizzie. I'm sure you're probably already a part of the Let's Play Minecraft Together community. But now all subscribers, including Prime, so thank you, if I can get the words out, there. Thank you for using your Amazon Prime subscription. I appreciate that. If you go to xisumavoid.com/get whitelisted, you can use your Amazon Prime subscription to join the server. You can use a gifted sub. You can use a regular sub. It's a change that we've made. All subscribers on Twitch are welcome on our Patreon server as well now. So if ever you've wanted to join one of those and you're not able to afford it, if you've got access to Prime, you can just use that to get on every month as well. You'd say the same for Tom Scott, really. Tom Scott, internet legend. I will forever miss those videos. The fact that he walked away with such a intact reputation, like he walked away with that mic drop. He just did it like hit on his own terms. I really love the way he did that, and like all that he's done, I think holds up really well. There's a lot of like, you know how like they make a sequel to a movie and you're like they should have left it where it was. There's a lot of that in the world, and I think right now he's sort of you know, kind of like an internet legend for just doing this amazing thing for 10 years and then walking away from it. If he brings it back, it will probably still be amazing, but as of right now, it's just sort of become a bit of classic internet stuff that you can watch again. There's a lot of his videos you can just watch back again, and they're still really great. Yeah, that torch there, I think I might leave it. It's like lighting up a bunch of stuff, right? Biska, thank you for the nice message, my dude. Tom Scott mentioned, agreed, he was incredible. He can always come back whenever he wants to. He's also still around doing the Lateral podcast, for example. So there's still, you know, his presence is still here on the internet. Just that original channel, the whole set of videos that he did, that's kind of like done now, isn't it? It's finished. Matt Pat did a similar thing as well. Yeah, I was never massively into Matt Pat's stuff, but yeah, he also managed to step away and retire. I mean, that was the big thing when Tom Scott and a couple of others stepped away. Everyone started talking about YouTubers retiring, and the thing about YouTube is it's such a treadmill that it's hard to get off it. Like, it just keeps going. But, you know, now we've got a few people that have managed to step off and step away. And, you know, there's probably like lots of medium, mid-sized channels, however you want to define it, that have had little YouTube careers, right, and stepped away from them, and the internet doesn't make a big hurrah because they're smaller creators, or maybe they just stepped away quietly. You know, I know some creators who were full-timers that aren't doing YouTube anymore. You could say they're a retired YouTuber, right? Not quite the same thing, but you know what I'm getting at here. Bob the Great says, I think Tom Scott planned the 10-year thing from the start. Correct me if I'm wrong. He explained it all in his video. I can't say I would remember the specifics, but I think it was maybe more of a, like, once it started getting momentum and working, it was like, I'm going to try and do this for 10 years type thing. There's a few little ideas that float out around there about, like, picking up life skills and doing something and staying committed for a certain amount of time, right? I think it might have been a case of, like, hearing one of those ideas and being like, right, I'm gonna do this YouTube thing for 10 years. Let's stick with it and see where it goes. It might have been a little bit more like that, you know. I don't know, but that would be my guess, at least. But I think if you just went and watched the video again, where he said goodbye, you'd probably get the answer, right? I have to change this now because it works differently over here. Them's the rules, yo. Decided this looked a little lonely. Put a little shelving space there. What are we going to put on the shelf, though? That's the real question, isn't it? What goes on the shelf? Do you know what? We could put a cobweb on the shelf, because this is the cobweb farm. Unfortunately, the LAs are gone. But what goes with that then? Probably like a brewing stand. Put a little brewing stand next to it. Perfect visuals. Now, when you look into this space here, you can sort of see into the back area. I think I might come and tidy this up a little bit, but maybe not. I don't know. Here's something about what we did today, right? This is now finished, air quotes. Actually, I don't really like that as a screenshot. Quite a lot of dark areas to catch. And on that side too. And over there, apparently. Now, this isn't finished at all yet. I got to put backings in on the windows. But otherwise, like, the shape and structure is done. And also, because it goes off to the edge here, and we're not now filling out this back wall, it kind of means that over there, and then it's like done, like a roof on this thing, and Loglands will be finished. Maybe this little area here needs a touch up too. I'm not too keen on that, but I have to think about that a little bit more. It's very close to being done. I'm going to need a new project, right? Alright. Alright then. Do you know what I spent yesterday doing? I spent yesterday writing some music. So that for that reason, I'm going to plug my old Soulside Eclipse. If you've never heard my music before, please do go check it out. You can find it on Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, YouTube. Just look up Soulside Eclipse. I hope you enjoy what you find. Also, we'll plug something else as well. If you're on Bedrock Edition of the game and you got access to the marketplace, go check out Tunnel Rats. That's a game that I created. And occasionally stream playing it with my friends. It's been a lot of fun to play. And I'm still working on new levels for it and stuff. Right, I'm clicking in all the wrong places here. I need to go find some on a raid, right? Let's go for similar channels here. What do we got? I don't know what to pick. Right, I'm just going to pick a random channel. I've got one. I hope you enjoy what you find today. That's going to be it from me. I'll see you again on Tuesday, if all goes to plan, with another Hermitcraft stream. Look, we're back on schedule now, right? We had a week where everything got tipped upside down. Hopefully we're back to our normal routine again. So if that's so, I'll see you on Tuesday. Right, join the raid, and I'll see you all later.